All right, everyone. Hello and welcome in. So earlier today, I uploaded a video talking about the Minnesota Vikings quarterback situation as it pertains to Kirk Cousins and his hit against the salary cap for 2023 and beyond for a variety of reasons. If you haven't seen that video yet, I do recommend after the conclusion of this one, click through the channel, go to the 2023 Minnesota Vikings playlist and check out that video talking a lot about salary cap needs for this year. Are we going to want to spend the money on Kirk Cousins in future years when it comes time for extensions for our young core talent such as Christian Darrisaw, Justin Jefferson, etc., etc.? Where do we want to allocate the little money that we're going to have this year and in years beyond? And how does that work for Kirk Cousins? Is it time to make a big decision surrounding this dynamic, the Kirk Cousins Minnesota Vikings relationship? Is it coming to an end sooner than we thought? So go check out that video after this one. For this video, I wanted to talk about this particular topic, Lamar Jackson, in that video that I just discussed and told you to go watch after this one. But I felt like it deserved its own video because we need a little bit more nuance to the situation, because this is a very interesting development this week regarding Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, and the fact that they used the non-exclusive franchise tag on their former MVP younger than 30 quarterback, which is, by all accounts, arguably the most important position in all of sports. So I think you can get kind of, glean where I'm going from this. So the first question, as posed in the title of the video, why is it likely that the Minnesota Vikings won't pursue Lamar Jackson? How does this all work? So I think even if the Vikings choose to move on from Kirk Cousins this year, which I'm kind of leaning towards they don't. I'm at like 60-40 that they don't do that. Lamar Jackson is not a good fit for the Minnesota Vikings, not because of the offense, not because of his play style, just because of the financial situation and where the team currently is in terms of team building, roster development, and how they're projected to be over the next few years, including 2023. So the non-exclusive franchise tag that the Baltimore Ravens have placed on Lamar Jackson means that he is eligible to negotiate with other teams. Fun fact, and we're going to dive into this little aside real quick, it seems like every team is avoiding him like the plague, and they all said it almost immediately yesterday. Nope, Falcons not interested. Nope, Commanders not interested. Nope, the Dolphins are not interested. It was just one after another. The Raiders, nope, not interested, despite Jarrett Stidham, I believe, being the only quarterback on that roster with NFL experience right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know who backs up Jarrett Stidham. I don't pay attention to the Raiders 24/7. So someone will have to educate me about that. And it was odd. It was really, really odd because, he's younger than 30, former MVP. I don't get it. I don't get it. What's going on here? So what we're looking at potentially and allegedly, and it's kind of wild how they're just like really not very good at hiding it. The NFL and their owners are collectively sort of colluding, if you will, against Lamar Jackson, and not specifically just him, but they're managing this situation in a way where they are attempting to keep the price down for quarterbacks going forward, not just Lamar Jackson or this year, going forward, because Jimmy Haslam and the Cleveland Browns handed out a fully guaranteed contract to Deshaun Watson that no other team is going to want to replicate. And I think that was made clear as day the week that Deshaun Watson signed that contract and he was introduced by the Cleveland Browns. I think every other owner in this business, in this league, is super pissed off at Jimmy Haslam for doing that, because what that does is that creates an environment where other quarterbacks around the league are going to play up to the level, if not better than Deshaun Watson, which right now there's quite a handful of them that are doing that, because Deshaun Watson missed a whole year of football. He missed the first 11 weeks of last season. It's not really living up to that fully guaranteed contract right now, is he? And this year will be a big test for that. But you have Lamar Jackson as the first candidate to be eligible to sign a big time extension, and he asked publicly, we all know it's not a secret, for a fully guaranteed contract in the range of Deshaun Watson. And by utilizing the non-exclusive franchise tag, it's a little taste of free agency for Lamar Jackson. The Ravens are basically just throwing him to the wolves and saying, well, we don't want to give you what you want. We're going to tell the other owners to do the same, allegedly, But the idea is that he gets to experience the free agent market, kind of, and then realize that he's not going to get what he wants, and then maybe come back to the negotiating table. So It's just an unfortunate situation, but that's the way that everything works in society, right? The NFL owners are absolutely not going to want to do fully guaranteed contracts with anyone. This isn't just a Lamar Jackson thing. This is just across the board. They're putting their foot down. This is their way to fight back against that. So that is currently what is going on with Lamar Jackson and the rest of the league. How does this work for the Minnesota Vikings? Well, a couple things. Number one, I don't think it's out of the question to just at least contact him and talk with him and have a conversation, because it is wild that no team wants to do just that. That's kind of where the obvious collusion comes in, is like you're saying no right off the bat without even talking to the dude. Like, you're all doing it back to back within a few hours. Like, okay, sus. I don't think it's out of the question to just call him and say, hey, are you willing to come down? What are you willing to do? Where are we at? And, what do you think of our team? This is what we think of you, et cetera, however those conversations go. It doesn't hurt to just talk. Does not hurt to just, have a conversation, pick up the phone, whatever the case may be. But ultimately, I don't think that Lamar Jackson is a good fit for the Minnesota Vikings for a couple of reasons. One, the non-exclusive franchise tag means that if the Vikings were to take Lamar Jackson away from the Ravens would automatically get 2 first-round picks. I don't think that we're in a position, roster-wise, and just looking at the next couple of years, if this front office and ownership, the Wilf family, is serious about being contenders, they cannot just exchange 2 first-round picks away from this team, because I think it's going to greatly hurt their future, and Lamar Jackson's going to come in, and we're just going to have the same problems, right? The current situation with Kirk Cousins since 2018 has been, we just got to fix the defense. We just got to get an offensive line. We just got to get this. We just got to fix that. And there's just been no money to do that. And then you get rid of 2 first-round picks. Now you've created a situation where there's no money to build the roster around Lamar Jackson, and there's no draft capital to build around Lamar Jackson. And you haven't drafted well anyway to begin with, so why are you giving yourselves fewer swings at the plate? The other issue is, on top of the draft capital that you would have to give up or surrender, is the contract. Like, I am on Lamar Jackson's side, and I'm on every player's side. Get your money that you can get, because the careers can be ended in a heartbeat. So by all means, do what you can to get your bag. No complaints there whatsoever. But from a team building standpoint, one of the big problems that I've had with the Kirk Cousins era has been his contract and how much is allocated to him under the salary cap. You bring in a guy like Lamar Jackson, who is probably going to get more, being a former MVP and less than 30 years old. I just don't see how that's workable in the current situation that the Vikings are in. We just had a video earlier today that I've alluded to already and referenced that we need to create salary cap space. Lamar Jackson does the exact opposite of that. So I don't see how that works for the Minnesota Vikings, bringing him in and giving him what he wants. Like, I believe under the tag currently, if he stays with Baltimore, it's $32 million. If they would have used the regular franchise tag, it would have been over 40. I just don't see how you tell Kirk Cousins, no, we can't give you 40, and then turn around and give Lamar Jackson 45, 50, and then how are you going to build a roster? I understand there are many veterans that you could cut and trade that would lower your cap hit, but I just don't see how it's possible. I really don't. So that's where I currently stand on the Lamar Jackson situation. I don't think that it is realistic in any sense for the Minnesota Vikings to be able to pull this off. I'm not a salary cap person. I don't work in a front office. Maybe I'm completely wrong here, but from an outsider's perspective, the math doesn't math. And I think giving up 2 first-round picks would be a little bit suicidal for the future of this franchise over the course of the next 5 years, considering their previous drafts have yielded only really Justin Jefferson, Christian Darrisaw. I'm just going back a few years. The jury's out on Brian Asamoah and the rest of the draft class last year. Other than that, the cupboard's pretty bare. So let me know what you guys think about the Lamar Jackson situation. Do you agree with me that this is really not the destination that's going to work for him? Or maybe the Vikings can swing something that I haven't thought of and bring him in. But ultimately, I don't think it's going to work. I think the Vikings should either stick with Kirk Cousins for 1 more year and then figure out a way to draft his successor. So that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.